You know, I'm a huge believer that a group of aligned leaders around a mediocre strategy will beat a group of misaligned leaders around a perfect strategy, 8 days a week.
In times of change, you always say, if it's storming outside, you got to go to the structure. And so Work Excellence provides the structure.
A big part of the methodology is the storytelling. And when people come in and tell their stories using the pages, there's just always opportunities to get better.
Well, Steve, you and I met at Standard Furniture. You were one of the consultants that we brought in, and you know, we had been growing at about 30 to 35% a year for about 5 years in a row, and we really outgrown our systems. So part of what we were trying to do was to bring in some outside help in order for us to learn how to do things better and different. We also felt like something was missing. The things that I had, the things that you brought to the table.
Yeah, Brian, I would just remember as we were using the traditional methods and the conversations we would have around, there's got to be a better way. It seemed like executive alignment was a challenge in getting everybody on the same page, and that was kind of the birth of that phrase for us. We just realized that the executive team was not on the same page, and then we started to say, well, what type of visual representation should we have to help people get better? And lots of experiments through the years on that visual. A lot of work with teams and understanding what didn't work, what did work. And then, you know, when we look at that time in Birmingham where we were able to sit down, write our plan, and really start the journey.
You know, our goal really is just to help people.
That's right.
Right, and that was kind of the birth of what we started, and we're still doing that today. So.
Yeah, I think what we saw was, you know, just how people's time was kind of caught up in that chaos and that lack of alignment. And I think you and I both had a passion for helping people, helping leaders grow.
That's right. We're often asked, what is Work Excellence? Work Excellence is an on-the-business method for any organization that wants to get better. It helps you get and stay on the same page with your team. You simply reach your goals faster.
Well, to me, Work Excellence is about aligning people, processes, and purpose.
I would summarize it, Brian, by saying it's the glue that holds us together.
I would describe Work Excellence as clarity, visibility, and progress.
Make it visible, simplify it, honor the people, and then improve it.
So Work Excellence is an on-the-business methodology which is centered around the 4 core elements of work, which is system, improvement, measurement, and direction, and it's held together by the work routine.
One of the 4 core elements of Work Excellence is work direction, and it is the leading core element. Work direction is simply the few directional statements that guide us on how we spend our time, energy, and resources. And work direction defines the value.
Work system is the structure, order, and flow of work, and it really starts to define how we create the value.
Work measurement are the critical few measures that tell you the health of your work, and it really ensures the value of the work.
Work improvement is the critical work that we are working in a specific time period to improve the value.
Work routine are the rhythms and cycles that hold the 4 core elements together. You know, Steve, we developed principles for the method. And we really started with 4 principles, and they've just stood the test of time. First principle is just visibility. Right? Second principle, simplicity. Third principle was honor. And the 4th principle is movement.
Yeah, I think the first one, visibility, is such an important piece. I mean, most people are visual learners, and those pictures, those pages tell a story. And a big part of the Work Excellence method is, as we've said, getting people on the same page, and visibility is critical.
Right. And really that second piece, simplicity. One of the things that we learned is, and we got feedback from our clients, and you know, they said, hey, things aren't as simple as you act like they are. So
Yeah.
over the years, we made things much more simple, right? And simplicity is just, how can we do it in the easiest way possible with the least amount of effort, right? And so really settling on the 4 core elements, the 4 pages that we did, you know, it may seem like a lot to some people, but it's really simple when we break it down individually, the way we teach workshops, right? We take that same principle and apply it to the workshop and the teaching that we do as well.
You want to talk about honor?
Sure, I think, you know, honor is a big principle to us because we like to honor where people are, right? We say we're not going to throw away everything that you have. We're going to honor where you are. We also honor everyone's voice, right? Which is, I think, a big part of it. When someone comes with an idea, we listen, and we encourage the leadership team to listen as well, because I do believe that everybody has a place. They're there in the organization for a reason, and there are different temperaments, talents, and convictions, and they need to be honored for what they bring to the organization. But then you need movement,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think one of the things about movement that's really important is you must take action, right? We can have a plan, but even Tony Robbins, you know, one of the great leaders out there that teaches people how to do things, he always says, write the plan, but then you must take action. We're often asked by executives, you know, how do we deploy the method in our organization? And we always start with the ideal way to do this is top down. That you start with your leadership team, that leadership team goes through a 2-day workshop, and then we help them build their pages during that workshop. And then we coach them for the next, you know, 1 to 3 months. And then we let them go through the second workshop, which is just a half-day workshop, stay on the same page workshop. And if you can start at the top, and then the entire leadership team really grasps and understands and starts doing this, what we find is that it can cascade through the organization very fast. And then you can do multiple cohorts of other leaders in the organization.
In the 2-day workshop, it's really about working on your work. So the participants that come into the workshop, they're bringing visibility to, hey, you know, an HR piece of work, or they're working on distribution, whatever area of the business. And that's a great part about Work Excellence is all departments and all levels can see the work in the same visual framework. So through that 2-day workshop, they're actually working on their work and bringing it to life in the visual framework. So within that 2-day experience, people are actually walking out with their pages about 80-90% of the way there, and then they can start to use them. And then when they leave that workshop, they can start making change happen right now.
You know, Steve, you and I have always believed that we need to help organizations, and then we need to transfer that knowledge and capability to them. And really with 2 big things that we've done in the past few years. One, by creating a standard workshop that we can repeat over and over and over again. And then building the technology that we just built, that we just released last year, is we allow people to use that technology so it takes out all that variation of what we had in the past. So with the standard workshops and the standard technology, we can let go a lot faster.
I think the important part of any type of methodology is, can it be transferred to people? And one of the things Brian and I didn't want to do was create dependency on us, because the greatest sign of a good methodology is people get it, they can use it, and they can turn around and start to teach other people. And that's a big part of why we built the method the way it is. And I would say it's really cool to come back and watch somebody teaching the method to somebody else.
I think the workshop is fantastic because it brings everybody together to learn in a broader environment where there's better back and forth, there's better asking of questions, they're bouncing ideas off of each other, not only with you and Steve, and I think that's probably the biggest value that workshop brings. I'm a big fan of it, and we've heard just great feedback from our leaders and the folks that have gone through it.
Yeah, I think in any organization there's always going to be times of challenges, and that can be internal, can be external. And I think one of the things that the Work Excellence does provide is the framework to keep everybody focused during that time. It was always an anchor that we could come back to. Mm-hmm. And I would tell you, within our company, we've always had several strong performers that just stayed with it all the time, even though some of the new people, as they come in, it took a little bit to get there.
The Work Excellence method in some ways almost sounds like it's something fantastical that, you know, and it's a bunch of jargon, it's a new thing. How many books have been written on business management? Millions of them, because there's no one way to do it, right? But I think the difference with work excellence is that it's all built on fundamentals, fundamental principles. So those things don't change.
That's right.
Right? So it's always just sticking with those fundamental principles, and nobody can argue with it.
Yeah.
The organization was performing okay. However, if you looked under the engine, you would find we weren't running on all the cylinders. And the intention was to, as quickly as possible, get the parts that weren't working to start working. And so we had to come up with a solution, and it was like, well, we know what the solution is, we just have to do it. And so we made the commitment in 2016 to proceed with using it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about calling Work Excellence, don't hesitate, call now. It's made a tremendous difference in our company, just foundationally incredible, and I've recommended it already to other people. Great things are possible, and I think that we're living proof of that.